Welcome back to the Shaolin Temple. My name is Shi. Today, we explore the subtle yet profound signs that indicate your soul is awakening, a process so quiet that many fail to recognize it until they are deeply immersed. Awakening does not come with noise or spectacle. It comes as a soft, persistent ripple that shifts your perception of reality. The first hidden sign is a heightened sensitivity to energy. Suddenly, you can feel the emotional weight of a room before a word is spoken, sense the tension in a conversation, or notice the vibration carried by the presence of others. Crowds may feel overwhelming, casual conversations may leave you drained, and certain environments may provoke subtle unease. This sensitivity is not a weakness. It is an indication that your consciousness is expanding, that you are beginning to perceive life beyond the surface, beyond words, beyond appearances. You start noticing patterns in the people around you, the intentions behind smiles, the energy behind laughter, the subtleties that once escaped your awareness. Some presences uplift you effortlessly, while others seem to pull at your inner peace even without intent. Awakening teaches you to recognize these energies and honor them, to protect your vibration while maintaining compassion. Alongside this sensitivity comes a deep inner call for solitude. Not out of loneliness, but as a necessary retreat to process experiences, reflect, and realign. You may find yourself drawn to quiet spaces, long walks, or periods of stillness, craving time to listen to your inner guidance. At first, this solitude may be confusing to those around you. They may misinterpret it as withdrawal or detachment, but in reality, it is your mind, body, and soul recalibrating to a higher frequency. You may also notice your perceptions changing subtly but profoundly. Colors may seem more vivid, sounds more distinct, nature more alive. You begin to sense connections between events, patterns in coincidences, and meanings behind seemingly random occurrences. Sensitivity to energy also enhances empathy. You begin to feel the emotions of others more acutely, yet you learn to discern which feelings to absorb and which to release. These initial changes are delicate, invisible to most, but unmistakable to the awakened soul. They are the first whispers of consciousness, reminding you that you are not bound by old perceptions, old habits, or the superficial layers of life. As this awareness grows, you begin to see not just the world, but yourself differently. Your inner compass starts pointing toward authenticity, clarity, and alignment with your higher self. And even though these changes are quiet, even though they may go unnoticed by others, they mark the beginning of a profound journey, the journey of awakening, of subtle perception, of heightened sensitivity, and of stepping into a life where energy, intention, and awareness dictate your reality. The second hidden sign that you're awakening is a profound amplification of intuition, a subtle yet unmistakable shift that changes the way you navigate life. Suddenly, your inner guidance becomes more vivid, more insistent, and harder to ignore. Decisions that once required endless analysis now arrive with clarity and certainty, often in the form of an immediate knowing that cannot be explained logically. You may feel the truth behind words, sense outcomes before events unfold, or recognize patterns that eluded you before. Synchronicities begin to appear with increasing frequency, meaningful coincidences, repeated numbers, unexpected encounters, or opportunities arriving at precisely the right moment. These are not random events, but the universe signaling that your consciousness is beginning to align with a higher frequency. At the same time, old attachments begin to lose their power. Material desires, trivial dramas, and repetitive habits no longer provide fulfillment. You seek depth instead of distraction, purpose instead of comfort, and truth instead of illusion. As your intuition strengthens, so does your ability to read people and situations. You start to notice subtle inconsistencies in behavior, hidden intentions behind casual remarks, and emotional undercurrents that were once invisible. Some individuals may feel unsettled by this shift, reacting with discomfort, resistance, or passive criticism because your clarity illuminates the stagnation in their own lives. Their reactions are not a reflection of your actions, but a mirror of their inability to evolve. Awakening often requires you to step away from familiar patterns, old habits, and relationships that no longer resonate with your evolving self. You may feel a growing sense of solitude, not because you are rejected, but because alignment demands refinement. Those who are not attuned to your frequency will naturally drift away, creating space for authentic connections that reflect your awakened consciousness. As intuition grows, you also experience a stronger connection with the flow of life itself. You notice the subtle ways in which events align, people enter your path for meaningful reasons, and doors open in ways that seem almost orchestrated. The mind becomes quieter, the heart more attuned, and the soul more receptive. You begin to trust your inner guidance more than external validation. And this trust allows you to navigate life with grace, confidence, and alignment. The amplification of intuition is not merely a gift, it is a call to awareness, a reminder that awakening is not about acquiring knowledge, but about perceiving reality more fully. It signals that you are stepping into a deeper relationship with yourself, the universe, and the hidden forces that guide existence. Those who recognize this shift feel it as an undeniable truth. Life is no longer random, and every moment is infused with meaning, purpose, and potential. The third hidden sign that you are awakening is a deepening of emotional perception and empathy, a shift that changes the way you feel and interact with the world around you. Emotions no longer pass through you like fleeting shadows. Instead, they become powerful teachers, revealing truths about yourself, others, and life itself. You begin to sense the unspoken, the hidden motivations behind words, and the subtle energy behind actions. Strangers may seem to carry familiar pain, joy, or struggle, and your heart responds intuitively, sometimes before your mind even understands. This heightened emotional perception also allows you to discern which relationships nourish your soul and which ones drain your energy. Conflicts and negativity that once felt tolerable now trigger discomfort, and patterns of behavior that were once overlooked become glaringly apparent. You begin to understand that compassion does not mean absorbing the suffering of others, nor does love mean sacrificing your peace. Awakening teaches that emotional boundaries are essential for growth, clarity, and spiritual alignment. You start noticing how certain people unconsciously or intentionally disturb your inner equilibrium, while others naturally uplift and harmonize with your vibration. The ability to perceive emotional subtleties also heightens your intuition, creating a feedback loop in which your empathy and inner guidance reinforce each other. You may find yourself withdrawing from shallow conversations, meaningless social obligations, or toxic interactions, not out of arrogance or detachment, but as an act of self-preservation and reverence for your evolving consciousness. Emotional clarity often brings with it a sense of solitude, because your awareness surpasses the superficial understandings of those around you. This solitude, though challenging at first, becomes a sanctuary for reflection, processing, and deep listening to your own heart. Over time, you begin to notice synchronicities in emotional experiences, repeated patterns in interactions, the lessons embedded in challenges, and the ways in which life mirrors your inner growth. You also recognize that your emotional evolution can feel threatening to some, because your clarity and sensitivity illuminate their unresolved fears, insecurities, or unconscious behaviors. People may react with resistance, misunderstanding, or even subtle attempts to manipulate, but these responses are not reflections of your value. They are mirrors of their own stagnation. Awakening requires that you honor your emotional boundaries, trust your feelings, and embrace the discomfort of growth. The heightened perception of emotions signals that your soul is awakening, that your heart is learning to navigate life with depth, discernment, and wisdom. It is an invitation to feel fully, understand deeply, and engage consciously, balancing compassion with self-preservation. This emotional evolution marks a profound shift. You no longer settle for shallow experiences or superficial connections because your consciousness has begun to operate at a frequency attuned to authenticity, truth, and the subtle currents of life that guide your highest path. The fourth and fifth hidden signs of awakening often appear together, signaling a profound shift in consciousness that transforms the way you live and perceive reality. The fourth sign is an unwavering drive for truth and authenticity. You begin to see through illusions, half-truths, and pretense, both in yourself and in the world around you. Situations and relationships that once seemed comfortable now feel incompatible with your evolving consciousness. You feel a deep compulsion to align every choice, every action, and every thought with your higher self. This drive for authenticity manifests subtly. At first, you may stop tolerating conversations that feel empty, habits that feel repetitive, or connections that feel draining. You may sense a quiet discomfort with dishonesty, manipulation, or superficiality, and this discomfort pushes you toward clarity. Your internal compass grows stronger, guiding you toward experiences, environments, and people that resonate with your truth, while naturally creating distance from those that do not. The fifth hidden sign is the increasing presence of synchronicity in your life. Events, encounters, and opportunities begin to align in ways that feel almost orchestrated, as if the universe itself is guiding your path. You may notice repeated numbers, seemingly coincidental meetings, or perfectly timed opportunities that point you toward growth and purpose. These synchronicities are not random. They are signals that you are moving in alignment with your higher self and that your awakening is activating pathways that were once invisible. Alongside these signs, you begin to notice subtle but powerful internal changes, a greater sense of patience, a quieter mind, and a heart more attuned to the flow of life. You feel less need for validation, external approval, or superficial recognition, because your awareness and alignment provide a sense of certainty and inner fulfillment that nothing else can. Combination of authenticity and synchronicity also acts as a filter, naturally drawing the right people and experiences into your life while guiding away those that are no longer compatible. Some may feel abandoned, hurt, or confused by your transformation, but their reactions are not a reflection of your path. They are a reflection of the difference in frequency between their consciousness and yours. Awakening is a purification, not a punishment. It clears the clutter, dissolves attachments, and creates space for deeper understanding, meaningful connection, and aligned experiences. As these hidden signs become more evident, you begin to recognize that awakening is not about seeking change externally, but about perceiving and living in alignment with an internal truth that has always existed. It is a quiet revolution within, a subtle yet unstoppable force that reshapes your reality and relationships. By noticing these signs, heightened energy sensitivity, amplified intuition, deepened emotional perception, drive for authenticity, and synchronicity, you understand that awakening is not a moment but a process, and those who honor these signals are stepping fully into a life of clarity, alignment, and conscious purpose.